Hi there, Cosmic Family. My name is Elial in this incarnation, and today I wanted to leave a reflection linked with the perception of better or worse along the process. And in order to explain this, I'm going to mention again, because I mentioned this many times before, this passage of the sacred scriptures that is talking about how the people of Israel left Egypt. So I explained this from the point of view of Kabbalah, which is not a religion. And this wisdom explains us how Israel, in first place, it's a symbol. We're not talking about a certain land. We're not talking about Jewish people even either. This is about all the souls that are seeking for a spiritual evolution, that are seeking for addition to light or God or the creator or whatever you want to call it. So these souls could be anyone, any one of us. If we are in a spiritual practice and we are taking consciousness, we are in consciousness of that. So I'm going to mention this again because I think it's a very good example to explain what I want to explain today. And the fact that they are leaving Egypt is a representation of the slavery of the ego that many times we have to transcend in many situations. And the desert is actually a passage of big purification and of tests too. And is the passage that is going to take us to this promised land, which is a land that we are promising to ourselves, we are creating for ourselves. So I think we experimented this in many situations in our life. I am going to put an example, but when we are in a slavery, let's suppose you are in a situation, in a relationship that it's not collaborating with your evolution anymore. I think we all experimented that. And when you start to understand that, then resistance appears. Here, the symbol of the resistance are the blacks. So many things start to happen in your life. You know, you have conflicts with that person. Maybe that person could cheat you. And I already explained this, how infidelities are actually a projection of our own infidelity many times. This is not in order to justify anyone, but it's important to understand how the mirrors are always operating. This mirror law is operating always. So this situation leads us to many times to take decisions or not. If we are staying there, then we are going to keep receiving these plagues, which are the resistance of the ego and which they always traduced by in conflicts and inner battles too. So when we really take the decision and we say to ourselves, okay, I'm going to leave this slavery of my ego. I'm operating from the wishes, the desires of my ego. I really want something more, something else. And we start to this passage of the desert. And this passage is a very, many times it's a very tough one. Because we start to doubt, we have to deal with our own healing. Many times we are asking ourselves if we are going to get to the other side, to the promised land, if we are going to feel better, etc. It's a passage of many doubts. So we have to understand that in the story in the Bible, the people of Israel were always complaining about everything, but they weren't seeing that God, the Creator, was giving them help every time. In spite of being in the desert, they were receiving a lot of things, a lot of miracles. And many times we don't see them. We don't see those miracles happening in our life. How universe is trying to help us and how things actually are not getting worse. This is only a passage of purification. And on the inner side, we know that if we keep moving, if we keep transcending that situation, we are going to get there because we are creating that from the inside. So we could apply this to everything. Let's suppose that you are in a job that is not aligned with your soul anymore. So you are conscious now about your own purpose, and you're in the middle of the jump. And if you are resisting, then things are going to happen in your job. Maybe conflicts with your coworkers, or I don't know. You have to work for more hours for less money. I don't know. And all of those things are signals that you really have to leave that place, because that is a slavery and you are in a comfort zone that actually it's not comfortable at all. So when you finally decided to do this, maybe you are in the middle of that situation. You are dealing with uncertainty. You are dealing with economic adjustments until you are aligned to your purpose. So it's going to be different for everyone. But you know that the promised land is on the other side of all your fears and all your healing, all the healing you have to do, and all the decisions and all the trust that you have to create inside of yourself. So the desert could be like the worst passage of the process, but we know that that passage is going to take us to the promised land. So if we transfer all of these things that could happen in an individual way, because all the people, each individual, are creating society. If we transfer this to society, I heard many times when I was a kid, through all the generations, everyone said, that things are going worse, that the generations are getting worse, that everything is, getting worse. And I don't really believe that, because I really think that we are, when we are experimenting a lot of conflict and chaos outside as a society, that is telling us that we are in the edge of a big change, which is the Aquarius era. And I don't know if you heard that phrase, but the darkest hour is just before the dawn. So of course we are going to experiment many things. I already talked about this in the psychographies of Parravicini. This man described a lot of things that maybe we could not perceive them as really good ones, but the empowering thing about that information is that he's telling us that we have hope. I mean, if we have faith in ourselves and we really do our spiritual work and we align ourselves to that, and we are people and we transform ourselves in people that wants to do something better for this world, to create things that are aligned to love, for example, in this world, then we're going to have the capacity to go through every situation and create another society. And this, of course, is a process. Again, it's not something that something outside is going to bring us. There's no savior outside. There's nothing that is going to bring us to ourselves. This is something that we have to do every time. This is a process that we all have to face in an individual path. So I think it's very important to understand that every time that we are feeling that things are worse, we are disconnecting from our soul, actually. Because the consciousness, that voice that is aligned with the frequency of love, knows that everything that is happening on the present moment is taking us to a better place. So I'm going to end the video here. Thank you, everyone, and see you in the next video. Ciao, ciao.